Hey, it's me, the soy pill. Does the left hate America? Kneeling during the anthem, calling our founders and Constitution racist, refusing to wear American flag pants to the barbecue. The left is very critical of America's image and history. Meanwhile, Republicans stand during the anthem, call our founders and Constitution super not racist, and absolutely wear American flag pants to the barbecue. Hell yeah, brother! Why does the left seem to complain about almost everything the right loves about America? Let's take a look at It's sort of a vague question. Does the left hate America? Who's the left? What does it mean to hate America? How do you define America? Why does it burn when I pee? You'll notice in my previous videos that I tend to use things like liberals, progressives, and the left interchangeably. That's because the people whose minds I want to change tend to do the same. For example, Dennis Prager, dean of online school, Prager University, has written an article entitled, "Does the Left Hate America?" Now, Prager's answer is an obvious yes. And if he had meant the left to be everything over here on the political spectrum, I wouldn't even make a video. There's a real section of far lefties that hate America for the reasons I'll be going over later. But in his article, the left includes Obama, someone slightly left of center, Elizabeth Warren, a relatively far left Democrat, and Bernie Sanders, who is very far left and might even be a secret communist. Prager's characterization of the left, labeling almost every Democrat a socialist, is similar to what other people mean when talking about the left and their hatred of America. They're usually comparing the rampant patriotism from the right with the typically more reserved and critical attitude of pretty much anyone to the physical left of this line. And I'm serious when I say they think half the country hates America.
Gentlemen, say something controversial right up top. Dennis, what's the most controversial thing that one can say these days?
I'll tell you, America is a great country. I love America. Those are two of the most controversial things one can say.
So let's really break down this comparison of patriotism between the right and the left and what it means to love or hate the entity of America. Hell yeah, brother! There is no question that Republicans love America. They proudly wave and wear the flag. They have unfaltering support for American troops. They take other countries' freedom and make it look like our freedom's little bitch. Oh yeah, you think you're free in New Zealand because you guys have healthcare and no more coronavirus? Watch this, you fucking pussies. Republicans can range from casual flag outside of the house to biggest flag ever created. They're so proud to be American, they go above and beyond just to let everyone know how much they eat freedom and crap liberty. Now, a lot of people like to say that it doesn't make sense to feel pride in something that you didn't really have a part in. Sure, it makes sense to be proud of your child or a group project, but being proud of the country because you were born there, it's like being proud of your local sports team. Or even worse, being proud of your country's team.
Come on, England! Score some fucking goals!
But being proud of America is so much more than just having been born there. People are proud to vote and be active participants in the policies. People are proud to be a part of the diverse range of cultures, peoples, and ideas that give America its identity. They're proud to be hard workers that contribute to tons of innovation and the largest economy in the world. Even if they aren't active participants, they're proud that they share the ideals that our country promotes, like freedom of speech or success through hard work, ideals that grant freedom and opportunity to all Americans. When Republicans look at the flaws of America's past, like shortcomings of the Constitution, they don't view the whole system with disdain, but look proudly at how the system allowed us to change for the better and overcome the mistakes we made in the past.
The story of America is that America did tolerate the great original sin of slavery up until the Civil War, and then tolerated Jim Crow up until the civil rights movement of the 1960s. And that is a great stain and a blot on America. But the story of America is trying to fulfill the promises of the Declaration of Independence over time, make those promises available to everybody.
Imagine if women had dicks and men had pussies and we were just really into big dicks. Dude, that's entirely possible.
Right.
To sum it up, Republicans think that freedom, good. Opportunity, good. Constitution, good. Bad parts of America make the good parts look good. So how does the left measure up to this? On its face, you would compare what you see from Republicans and say that they're obviously more patriotic. Anyone can tell you that the left does not show the veneration for America that the right does. But what do the facts say? Recently back from the hospital, it's FactGator.
Oh yeah, it's me, the Fact Gator. According to Pew Research, 71% of Republicans view their party as more patriotic, compared to only 29% of Democrats. Yeah. And in a Penn State study about patriotism, it was found that about 10% of Democrats reject the idea of patriotism. No, but patriotism means different things to different people. In the same Pew Research, 63% of Democrats view themselves as equally patriotic as Republicans. Oh yeah!
So how can a majority of Democrats think they're just as patriotic as Republicans based on what we've seen? The problem is, a lot of Republicans see this flag-waving culture as the default for patriotism, when in reality, it's the extreme. Republicans tend to be more showy with their patriotism, signaling to others just how patriotic they are, in a country-loving, dick-measuring contest. It's very similar to neighborhood Christmas light competitions, in which every house tries to one-up each other to show who's the most holiday-spirited, by spending exuberant amounts of money on Christmas lights, when in reality, there's probably an impoverished family a few blocks away that's enjoying Christmas just as much as anyone else. No matter how many goofy dancing Christmas trees you have, your display doesn't invalidate or necessarily make you more spirited than someone who doesn't show off at all. Plenty of other people from plenty of other places have just as much love for their country or ideas, but express it in different ways. Sure, maybe one year Germany will make the world's largest pretzel, or Canada will make the world's largest poutine, or Israel will commit the world's largest irony. But in general, it's far less common to see the rampant and wild patriotism that Republicans display. The Democrats might have come close to this culture with the Obama stuff, but it's not nearly as consistent or on the same level that Republicans do it. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with being so extreme in your love for the country.
Except that you look really stupid.
But a million bumper stickers, yard signs, flags, or making liking your country your personality are not a necessity for patriotism. But why don't Democrats have the same enthusiasm? Well, looking back at the Penn State study, Democrats tend to reject blind forms of patriotism. Over-the-top lionization of your country can either lead to or be a result of an unquestioning loyalty to a government that might not always be doing good things. People don't like to admit when they're wrong, and when you prop up anything to this extent and then your country does something horrible, you're going to be a lot less likely to question or speak against your country's actions. In fact, you'll probably try to defend them. For example, one could look at the Iraq War as a result of patriotism blinding us into making a horrible mistake. Most Democrats don't put America on a pedestal because, despite the good, they don't condone every action the country has done, and feel that overindulging in praise can distract from or even be seen as complicit in the many things that should be questioned. You can see this in the difference between Biden and Trump fans. No one is going to throw a Biden-themed wedding with a Biden wedding dress. Not because Joe Biden is a boring and uninspiring candidate,
But he is.
but because they don't necessarily agree with every action Joe Biden has taken. They want to support him, but not worship him. If you want to be showy about loving America, that's fine. But if your love makes you incapable of questioning America, you're not a fan, you're just brainwashed. Speaking of questioning, there's a lot to love about America. Personally, I love that I can experience all the cultures of the world in small gentrified doses, without having to participate fully in their deeper rituals. But America has a fucked up past, and sometimes a fucked up present. While Republicans may look at our mistakes as a sign of how far we've come, others don't see it that way. When the left calls the Constitution racist and sexist, they're talking about the fact that slavery was allowed and slaves were 3/5 of a person, or that women couldn't vote. The fact that we were able to rectify that through the built-in processes like amendments and horrible bloody civil war doesn't make the initial claim of bigotry any less true. The decisions of the founding fathers have led to centuries of oppression that have downstream effects even today. Now, we don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. The founding fathers weren't all bad because they had some bad ideas. The Constitution is one of the oldest founding documents on the planet still in use because of its adaptability. The criticisms don't have to be total condemnation, but they are valid. We've come a long way with gay rights, minority rights, and overall equality in the country. But there are still people alive today that had to live through Jim Crow and other systemic racist policies. And far more people today couldn't get married until barely 6 years ago. Not to mention the day-to-day discrimination these people might still face on a personal level.
The man then flashes a Nazi salute at the couple before grabbing a tool out of his truck bed and trying to smash the couple's truck.
I pay for their welfare. I pay for their ability to be here. The least they can do is
no welfare.
It's a $75,000 fine. Tell Mexican guy here, because it's a big deal.
Oh, I'm so scared of a lesbian. I should be so embarrassed of a lesbian on my property. Look at you.
She knocked my phone out my hand.
I really fucking hate gamers.
And then we could cover all the things America has done to other countries, like civilian bombing campaigns, coups of democratic governments, assisting in genocides, stopping genocide. Some Americans may have personally been affected or have friends or family that were affected, and some are just appalled at the actions because they have empathy or something. And then there's just the general policies of today the left doesn't like. Our healthcare system, police brutality, low corporate taxes, all of these things are very legitimate criticisms of America. And yeah, if you're a half-melted, napalmed Vietnamese kid, it's even justification to hate America. But you can dislike these things and still love the country for the good parts. Trigger warning, kneeling football man, kneeling football man, trigger warning. Colin Kapernick has explicitly said that despite protesting the country for its criminal justice system, he loves America. Republicans obviously love America despite all the bad things we've seen, so why not extend the same charitability to the left when they say they still love America? I think a lot of Republicans are afraid to point these things out because they don't want to be critical of the thing they love. But sometimes being critical of the things we cherish is the way we make them better.
America, fuck yeah.
Whether it be culturally with progressive values or economically with more taxes and redistribution, the left is always pushing for change. Meanwhile, the Republicans are all about a return to good times long past, like Reagan-era low taxes, the 50s nuclear family, or exploitative child labor. So how can the left claim to love their country if they're constantly trying to change what it is? When you don't like an aspect of your life, it's usually better to try to change it than to abandon it. If there's something inefficient at your job, you don't immediately quit, you bring it up to the manager. If you've got a problem with your friend, you don't stop talking to them, but you work out the problem. If your husband doesn't want to be a cuck anymore, you don't divorce him immediately, you talk it out, Carol, you fucking whore! And if you don't like something about America, you don't leave. You stay and try to fix the thing you don't like. I doubt that most Republicans would say that America is perfect in its current state, and that's fine. No one would ever accuse a Republican of hating America for wanting to change it. We as a country are barely recognizable to what we were when we were founded, and yet we're still America. I get that Republicans think that the left wants to change the things that make America America, but America means different things to different people. To immigrants, it might be a place that provided them with a fresh start. To many minority families, it's home, but with an abusive past and a lot of changing to do. To suburbanites, it's a quiet and peaceful place to raise kids and mingle with other families. To farmers, it's a quiet and peaceful place to raise kids and mingle with your own family. To rich people, it's the land of golden opportunity. To others, it's a government that has neglected them at every step. Clearly, some of these are at odds with each other, but none of them are wrong. Each individual's experience with America is true to them, and Republicans don't get hegemony on defining what is and isn't American. So if you think some or even most of the things the left is trying to do in America are wrong, then by all means, vote against them. But understand that just because they have a different idea of what America is, doesn't mean they hate it. We whine because we care, and we can turn that whining into energy for political action. Basically, when it comes to loving America, the Republicans are like my dog. They're proud and enthusiastic about me to an extreme extent, but they maybe overlook some of my inherent flaws. Meanwhile, the left is like my complaining Jewish grandma. She loves me, but her love is covered in about 30 layers of nagging and complaining. Oh, so you want to schlep more oil from the Middle East, and you still haven't cleaned up your police brutality mess at home. A lot of people kvetching about that. Isn't that just like you? Always with the overthrowing of democracy and never with the healthcare. I think I've properly summed up where the left is coming from. They have some big problems with America's past, present, and probably even future. And yeah, some on the very far left even hate America. But this country is home to both Democrats and Republicans, and a lot of people love it enough to want to fix its problems so that it can be loved that much more. Democrats and Republicans can come together and love America as a place where we can participate in democracy, explore our interests, financial and recreational, and say whatever or criticize whoever we want, no matter how dumb we sound.
God bless America, my home sweet home.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like if you did, and subscribe if you think potatoes are tasty. Leave a comment if there's a supposedly crazy left-wing idea that you want explained, and remember, chill. Take the soy pill.